Hey guys, I'm Tamika and welcome to Mika Tart, the show that promises to be fun, entertaining, and lighthearted. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is actually our last show for this season, and I just want to say before I get into Meek Thoughts, thank you guys so much for the support and the love. Thanks for the comments and everything. You guys were absolutely amazing. So I was thinking about age. There's a particular man in Europe, and he said that he identifies as a 43 or 42-year-old. So he's actually in his 60s and he's due to retire soon, but he says he identifies as a younger person, and so he's willing to forego his pension and everything because he no longer identifies as a 64-year-old, but a 42-year-old. So it had me thinking, if I could identify as an age, what age would I identify as? And I'm definitely 25, and I've been 25 for some time, and I will forever be 25, and that is the age I identify with. 25 is a good age, and I think 25 opens you up to a lot of opportunities. So guess what? I'm 25, so I'm going to be applying for a lot of things that only 25-year-olds can apply for. What age would you be if you could be any age? Let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, today there are so many things to define this person that by the time I'm finished, the show will be finished. But I'm going to just make it short. This person is an authoress, a media personality, and a politician. We welcome Krystal Tomlinson. Hi, Krystal.
Thank you so much, Tamika, for having me inside this space with you. And
yes, I'm just so sorry that we could not be outside together, because that would have been so great.
I know.
So let me just first state as a disclaimer, the house came with the orange, so I don't want people to think that it's any fault of mine. The house came with it. I cannot tell the people what to do with their curtains or their decor, right?
Lovely accent, though. Lovely accent.
All right, so the first question I want to ask you, your daughter, how do you pronounce her name?
Thank you for asking. It's pronounced Zia.
Zia. I was saying Zaya. Like I saw it and I'm like, Zaya. Yes. But so it's actually Zia. Mm-hmm. How old is she now?
She is 2 months shy of being 3.
Wow. When exactly is her birthday?
I keep saying she's 2. And when I say 2, it tells me that I have a year until she's 3. So I have to start now counting down to the 3, which is why I had to pause and count, because we're like, yeah.
Because I was beginning to wonder, you don't know?
No. It's a countdown. I had paused for the countdown to 3.
Okay, so she's 2 years, 10 months, and she'll be 3 when?
She'll be 3 in October, the 4th of October.
Okay. I have something I really need to know, because, you know, I have to set myself up. What's the secret in getting the hazel eyes? Because I need that for my baby. I need that for my baby.
No, I didn't even know it was, as you can see, my eyes, I mean, I do have brown eyes, but it's not the hazel that you can see. So you have to be really close to see that my eyes are brown.
Okay.
Similarly for her father, his eyes are brown too, but it's not the hazel. So one of his children actually has matching eyes with Zia. That's Moses Jr. And
nice.
On my side of the family, my cousin, so that's my auntie's daughter, she was born with grayish, bluish eyes. So some of the earlier photos with Zia, you'll notice that her eyes have like a gray blue tone.
Right.
So
they're very pretty.
My mother's side, or my side of the family, and then her eyes kind of continue to change color until it settled on the hazel.
Oh, it's really pretty though. I'm like, every time I see her, the first thing I look at, oh my gosh, look at her eyes. So I'm an eye fanatic. I really like, you know, different color eyes, but I think hazel is my thing. And Michael Ealy blue eyes, you know, just because it's Michael Ealy.
Unfortunately, I don't have the formula. But if I did, I would be mixing that little potion again. You know, make sure like when I have kids in the future, just mix it up.
How is Krystal Tomlinson, the businesswoman, different from Krystal Tomlinson, the mother?
Oh, well, I've never thought about that, but they are two different persons. As mother, my focus is for both roles, business and parenting. I want to serve. So in my business function, anything that I'm doing, any product that we're launching, any new income stream that we're exploring, the first question I have to ask is, well, how does this solve a problem for somebody? And how does it serve them in the process of getting to their highest self? Because I could sell you anything. I could package anything and produce anything and go to market with anything. But does it help to enhance you? Does it serve you in a positive way? Similar question for my daughter. Whatever I'm going to do, whatever I'm going to invest in for her, how does this serve her? How does this help her to get to her higher self? So in that respect, they are the same, but the approach to each of them is different levels of fierceness. So for business, it's a lot of controlling impulses, finding the excuses that are going to get in my way and interrupting them before they get a chance to frustrate me and delay me in terms of procrastination and all of that. With Zia, I don't have a procrastination problem because I'm always ready to show up for her and do now what she needs now. And I have to manage in that sense the desire to put her first all the time and therefore put me second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, way on the back. So it's kind of managing the instinct, the maternal instinct to put her first in every single moment so that I don't do myself a disservice in terms of losing sleep and the ability to earn, to put food on the table for her. I can't compromise my health and well-being because my maternal instincts are saying, well, Krystal, you're not important. She is the only thing that's priority right now. So it's a different level of fierceness, wanting to serve her and focus on her and give her all that I have the capacity to give. And then for the business, managing myself, my energy, and my focus to make sure I do what's important and not every possible thing that I could do. But I think there are similarities on the spectrum, but it's just trying not to go too far in opposing directions so that work gets in the way of parenting. And one of the things I'm grateful for, Tamika, is that in this time, I don't feel like I am sacrificing one for the other because I'm able to do both from home. So COVID has disrupted, but also delivered an opportunity for me to do both things, parenting and work in the home, therefore giving me more time to spend with her.
It's definitely, COVID is definitely a blessing and a curse all at once. Where exactly are you from?
Well, I was born in Golden Spring, which is in St. Andrew, and I moved when I was about 3 years old from Golden Spring to, oh no, I didn't move that early. I moved when I was five, six, moved from St. Andrew to Portmore. So I spent 10 years almost in Portmore, so from age 5 to 15 or to 14. And then after that, I went to Manchester and then came back to Kingston for university. So it's a little triangle, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Manchester, back to Kingston and St. Andrew.
So where did you go to high school?
I went to 4 high schools, actually. So when I did... Oh my gosh. When I did GSAT, I passed for Merle Grove High School, which is in Kingston. And by the time I got to second form, we were having difficulties because I am blossoming into a miscreant. I can safely say that I was a miscreant in high school. And I
can't see that. Well,
I know a lot of people come in there like, you give trouble. Listen, I was ringleader when it came on to trouble. Time waster. I was, always orchestrating.
What was the reason for that?
I was just idle. I was not occupied productively. I could go home and study and catch up everybody and pass out everybody and get my passes. So while I was at school, I didn't need to pay attention or focus. And I was somebody who needed to be entertained. And if I could not be entertained by other people, I would become the entertainment. So that sometimes meant a cross-section of being the class clown, but also the schoolyard bully, because I just wanted, to be doing something. And that was what I could do. So I gave a lot of trouble in high school. By second form, at Merle Grove, my year group coordinator and the dean of discipline recommended that my mother transfer me, because if they kept me there, they would have to at some point suspend me or expel me for breaking school rules. And when you get expelled, you kind of dark, you can't go no more good school. A beer, not good school, you're going to go. So they said, look here, we don't want to have to expel her because she's a bright kid. She have a future ahead of her. I think she just needs a different environment and different friends. Teachers didn't realize that I was the ringleader. So it's not that I needed different friends, because any friend you give me, I'm going to mislead them, right? But I was transferred to Alpha Academy when I was 13, so I'm going into third form. Spent 1 year at Alpha, same thing happened. The teacher called in my mom and they're like, can't keep her here because mixing up in the wrong set of people and all of that. So my mom said, all right, maybe Kingston is the problem. Let's move you to country. And at first, she said to me, I'm going to send you to Westwood. I nearly tear out my hair, a ball, a beg, because she was telling me that's a school that wears straw hats.
Yes.
Tamika, me a hot girl, mommy, what do you mean, straw hat? From a friend, them laugh off of me. So that, of course, was a threat to my, my dignity as a girl coming from a town school. I mean, like, what do you mean you're going to send me to country and put me in a straw hat? What is this? So when she said it, in my youthfulness, I thought it was the highest offense to my brand. And I said, look, if we have to go to country, please don't send me to that school, any other school.
At 15, you had a brand.
I had a brand. Well, I was 13, 14, had a brand. And she said, well, we're going to go to Manchester and I'm going to enroll you in Manchester High School. And we did that. I completed high school at Manchester, did my C6, everything for fifth form. And then when I wanted to return to Manchester High for sixth form, it was the same issue. Yes, Krystal does her work, but Krystal is also a disrupting element in the school community. And we just can't sacrifice that. We'd love to add her to our pass list. Because, the more bright kids you have in sixth form is the higher the rank, the Cape passes come.
Right.
But we can't sacrifice that. Safety and peace and stability in the school culture because Krystal Bride. No. You have to find a lot of school for her. And so that's why I ended up at my fourth high school, which was Descartes College for sixth form. So although the name says college, it's really a high school inside the diocese. So the Kingston College, Descartes College is under the same kind of diocesan structure. So I did the final 2 years of upper school in Manchester at Descartes College.
Okay. How do you think that those experiences would have impacted the person that you are today?
I think having gone through high school, recognizing the influence I had and the opportunities I wasted to inspire other people and to lead them into positive life decisions and habits and behaviors, I carry a lot of guilt because there are friends that I could have supported in different ways to do good things. And I supported them in doing things that were not so responsible in terms of their time and creative potential. And looking back at that missed opportunity, I'm sure it is a part of the reason why I use my platform religiously to inspire and to uplift and to empower, because I could have been doing that much sooner. And so I was a late bloomer using now this social media opportunity to catch up and do better. So in that regard, I think it really has impacted how I view myself and my ability to lead people, and choosing to make that a positive leadership experience instead of a negative one. And then the range of exposure I would have gotten from those 4 high schools, 4 communities and cultures, 4 year groups. When I got to university, I was pretty well known. And that's not something you're able to achieve if you didn't go to a Woolmers, if you weren't running track and field or on a quiz team or something that would have catapulted you into the national consciousness or the Kingston high school circuit, because you know, like your athletes across all high schools, people will know certain names, your ballers, your runners, people like that. So having not been doing that to get a name for myself, having gone to so many high schools, I got to university and I had 4 entire year groups that knew me. So everybody in the graduating class for Merle Grove, for Alpha, for Manchester, for the Carteret College, when we got back on campus, there's a pretty big number of people who already knew either my name or my face. And so I was able
high school would do that.
Yes, I was able to use that to my benefit in terms of running for a position on the Guild as social sciences representative. The fact that I was familiar to so many of them, I think gave me an advantage and an edge. And I wasn't the greatest example of leadership to begin with, but you know, people are comfortable with who they know or think they know. So that provided an advantage for me as well. And then finally, but I think most importantly, that journey of figuring out who I wanted to be happened while I was moving across each of those school campuses, seeing what was working for me and what wasn't, understanding my ability to make friendships and to connect with people in a meaningful way and to build trust and encourage action. I learned that it wasn't a matter of this group of people alone, but anywhere you put me, I had the opportunity to do that. And so I learned very early the power I had to lead, although it took me a while longer to choose to lead positively.
So there is something that I've constantly heard, and I want you to tell me whether or not it's true.
Yes.
There is a saying that you went on TV and said you would wait for marriage before engaging in sexual intercourse. Is that true?
Me?
Yes, that's what I've always heard. That you went out there, you said that you would never have sex before marriage.
You sure it's me?
Yes, that's what I've always heard.
No, sir.
But that's not you. That's not you.
I have no idea who would say. Well, first of all, who would ask me a question like that? That's the first thing. Who would ask me about having sex? That is the first thing. I've never done an interview.
I heard that it was said during your festival Queen Reign.
No, sir.
So people just out there telling lies on you.
This is a new lie. I've heard quite a few. I've heard quite a few, but this is a new lie.
Tell me three rumors you've heard that are absolutely not true.
So I remember when I had shared that I purchased my first car, and everybody was like, Elisha said she never buy it. She get it, and a man buy her things and whatever. And I'm just here looking at the money I have to pay to First Heritage every month to keep this car. And you're saying I did not buy it? Like, God, somebody needs to tell the bank so they can give me the money.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 2016 Audi A3, and I bought the 2016 Audi in 2016. So you know it's money that. And
is that whole heap of money?
Like, she never buy that, she can't afford that, she never buy that, and she buy it, and a fair car, and a man get it car. So that was one of the first. Did
he help you with the first payment though?
Widespread lies. I mean, not technically, but you know, being in a household where you don't have to cover certain bills, it frees up your income. So right. I was working at the time at Digicel Foundation. You know, with the bank, it has to be a standing order on your paycheck. So technically, all payments were coming out of my paycheck that I earned every single month. But I won't be ungrateful and not acknowledge the kind of financial flexibility it gave me to not have to worry about paying the light bill or paying the grocery bill or something like that. So what I earned, I was able to use how I deemed
other things,
you know, right? So I would credit him with my ability to maintain those payments, to be able to enter into that kind of financial arrangement. Because on my own, it's simply something I could not have done. But when people say it was not my vehicle, you know, I did not.
Yeah, that's hurtful.
I was like, huh? And how do you get a declaration like that? Like, how you really know that is not mine? So yes. That was the first one. The second was, I try to remember in order, but The other one was related to my daughter. So a person saying that it was actually not my child. I want you to understand what I'm saying.
No.
My daughter, and told themselves and then went on social media to say it, that my daughter was not my daughter.
Why? But I don't understand that one at all.
So when I tell you that I've heard some lies, there have been some lies that make you really go, oh, no good,
So what? So you went into the hospital and stole this child and just say, oh, this is
baby, or maybe I wasn't pregnant for real, because my entire pregnancy wasn't public. It was in the last trimester that persons found out I was pregnant. So by the time they found out, I was, almost about to have baby anyway. And then they looked at her, and in the color of her eyes as well, they said, no man, that baby don't look nothing like Krystal and nothing like Moses. It's not his child and it's not her child either. And I was like, what? So yeah, that was.
So you need to return the people's baby.
I need to return the people's baby.
And the third one?
The third lie, kind of stopped me in my tracks. It would have been something around politics, but I can't remember precisely what it is. But there have been like a few lies in the politics. I can't find one right now, but those two that I mentioned before certainly stood out. But you're the one that you just said a while ago is now officially like the top two.
Yes, I like to do these things on the show. I break things, I make things new and known.
Never heard that before.
Okay. How exactly did you meet Moses Davis, aka Beanie Man?
Well, we met while I was working at Fame 95. So I was in the RGR Gleaner group at that time with the Fame brand. So we met when he had come in to do an interview related to an event that Fame was hosting. And from there, we struck it off and maintained contact, got to know each other, and eventually started dating. And that relationship lasted for 5 years.
What was it about him that you said, yes, I want to date this guy?
Well, I won't venture to have that discussion, especially since we have broken up. Right. I don't want that part of our conversation to be the only thing that people remember. So I've said to interviewers over the last 6 or 7 months, I'm not doing any relationship interviews, because anything about my relationship has the ability to make news and headlines, and I just don't want to feed that particular public interest anymore. So I won't venture to talk in detail about, the why and the how and things like that. But what I will say is I don't regret anything about my relationship decisions in life. I've always chosen partners who, at the time that we meet, there is alignment and synchronicity of passion, of principle, of purpose. But I'm also open to the idea that things really do not last forever. And where you can feed and serve the spirit of somebody else, you do that while it makes sense for both of you to do it. But whenever that time has passed, I think both partners have to be at a place of maturity to respectfully, lovingly, and compassionately say, well, we are at the end. We are at the end of this chapter, and I loved you in this chapter, and I love you still and want the best for you, but together,
it won't work.
We're not in sync anymore. And I think too many persons, realizing that things are out of sync, insist that we are going to stay and pretend that there is synchronicity. Right. And in some respects, you end up terrorizing each other. So I pray that I will always have that clarity and courage to recognize, admit, and then take action, even if everybody around is saying, no. Just trusting your gut and making decisions from a place of love, self-love, as well as love for other persons.
Did you by chance do literature in high school?
I did. I did literature for CSEC, and I also did literature at Cape. A lot of people thought I would be a teacher because I was really, really very good at English language and English literature.
So the reason I ask is because I would read comments and a lot of people would say they don't see how the two of you could match or why you'd get together. But from listening to him, and I'll admit I'm not a dance hall fan, but there was one particular song he did. And as somebody that did literature, I thought he was absolutely genius. When he said, "Girl, I'm going to take my chalk and mark up your blackboard," I thought it was brilliant. So his use of allegory and symbolism, I thought it was perfect. And I think persons like that, they tend to be very charming. So I could see, you know, especially considering you have a media background, I could see the link happening, you know. A lot of people said they didn't see it, but I could see that happening because he tends to come off as very charming, of course.
Yes, he's a beautiful human being, and you don't stay in a relationship. Well, I, Krystal, don't stay in a relationship where I don't feel supported and loved and understood. So for us to have been together for that long is evidence of that.
So I could not have you on here and not speak about what is happening in the PNP, right? Okay. I could not have you on here and not speak about.
Well, I wish Stasia had told you, because there are two things I don't do interviews about at this time. It's relationships and politics. Again, for the same reason. No matter what the response is, people will pick it up and make something out of it. And I find it does a disservice to even the person having a conversation with me. You'll talk to me about 5 things that are positive and worthy of being amplified, and somebody somewhere just kind of clips out a half a second and makes a headline out of it. So I've told Stasia and everybody that I'm to do an interview with that we're not going to talk relationship and we're not going to talk politics, because that is going to take over the entire conversation, and then nobody really hears what I say about it anyway. They just hear a headline.
What they want to.
Yeah, so I don't respond to those questions. In fact, he got a lot out of me on the relationship question a while ago.
Well, that's what I do. All right, so let me ask you this. It's not really about the PNP, but in terms of young people entering into politics, what would be your advice to them?
Think about the contribution that you want to make. And it's advice, I'm actually giving advice that I got from Damian Crawford when I started. Think about the contribution that you want to make. Be very clear about the impact you want to have, the change you would like to engineer or support if there are other people already working on engineering that kind of change, and stay focused on that. There are very many pathways that can lead you to politics, and 10 times that to derail you on the journey to service. So if you start with clarity on how you want to serve your country, how you want to impact national life and development, that helps you to say no to some things and say yes to the right things. So that is one thing I would say to you. You don't have nothing to do with money, don't have nothing to do with age, you don't have nothing to do with experience. Be clear on what impact you would like to have and stay focused on that impact as best you can.
Okay. So Krystal, on this show, we tend to play games a lot. And I have a game for you. And the game does not involve politics or relationships.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely. All right. So the game is called Quick and Nasty.
Quick and?
Nasty.
Nasty, okay. It's PG-13, right?
Yeah, about that.
As long as it's PG-13, because as I said, you know, you don't want
You don't
want me to make you for your thing for the wrong reasons, but go ahead.
It's not that bad. No, I wouldn't do that to you at all. All right. So the first question is, what is the sexiest food?
Food?
So it can be food, fruit, vegetable, but what is the sexiest one in your opinion?
Strawberries.
Why?
Yeah, strawberries have been sexualized, so I don't use them, guys. Trust me, I'm gonna be the most boring person talking about the strawberry, right? Because it's not, but it's been sexualized. When you think about creating a sexy experience, even for yourself, you know, even if you don't have a man or a woman that is there with you at the time of eating the strawberry, you have to be very careful how you eat it, because you know, people by dipping at the chocolate or the whipped cream over it, everybody will look at you like. So strawberries and bananas, because people look at them so sexually, especially me when I'm in public, I have to be careful when I eat it because you don't want a body start make the wrong joke because I eat.
Yeah.
I will root to you. I don't want people run a sex joke with me and me and I don't know man a friend. Don't run that joke there. So
yes.
Give me some broccoli, give me some East Indian mango, something that I can eat and you don't get the wrong impression, right?
So the second question is, tell me 3 things that you'd say if you're surprised.
Backside, I'm with it, and I don't curse bad words, so I always stop short, right? And no sir. No sir is like a big thing for me. No sir, no sir. Those are my 3.
Okay, those are interesting ones. 3 names for vagina in Jamaica.
Punani, and I love punani. Yeah, I love that word. I don't know why I love it.
That sounds Manchester-ish.
Punani. Pum pum. And mind you, we have yam named Pum Pum and a rock named Pum Pum.
We do?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Driving to over Flat Bridge. There's a Pum Pum rock, they call it, because it's shaped like the vulva. So you have the 2, well, what men say are the 2
right.
and something in the middle that would look like a clitoris. So they call it the Pum Pum rock. Don't quite understand why the yam is called Pum Pum yam, but hey.
And the third?
Nani, I said Pum Pum. And good. That one I like. I like
yes, that's a nice one. Tell me 3 nicknames that you have.
Oh, Condom, which is one I got when I was at UA. That's my hall name on Taylor Hall.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
They always have a reason for that. So what's the reason?
Yes, but I can't tell you because you're not a Taylor, right? You work on the ranks with me. You never see the embarrassment and the stress when I go through to get my induction. So I can't just go around and I tell people, oh, I earn money. Yeah, that is my...
You know, I'm not a Taylorite. How you know?
Well, if you are a Taylorite, you would know. Coming out okay. Already, like inside.
You have an answer for everything, so.
What's my other nickname? You know, that's the only nickname I have outside of like Chrissy. And it's only my producer for Nyamings called me Chrissy. And yeah, it's just those 2. Condom, which is like the official hall name, and Chrissy, which only one other person calls me. Everybody else, I guess Krystal is easy enough to say. Them just say Krystal. Okay. Or Chris. I have 2 friends who call me Chris. So there we go. Chris, Chrissy, and Condom.
Right. So I have 2 more questions. So you're at a fancy event and something bad is going to happen to you and you have to pick which one you want to happen. So one is either you pee yourself in front of everyone. The second one is you vomit on the host. The third one is your belly growls and you have diarrhea. Or the fourth one, you want to pick your nose, so you pick it and eat it. So which one?
Really be going on that would have picked for the one someday in an event. Maybe belly growls and I had diarrhea because it didn't say that I'd have to poop myself there
in front of everyone.
Also, yeah, let's pick that one.
That's an interesting one. And the final question, what is your perfect date?
I don't have a perfect date in terms of circumstances. There are places that I like to go, like the beach. So I really love going to the beach, but I also like solitude. So any time spent outside of the public glare and the noise and the excitement, I really enjoy. You know, silence is something I embrace whenever I can get it. So something, you know, deep in the woods, wherever the silence is, wherever the hustle and bustle are far from, I know I would enjoy that. So beach and something private, quiet, moonlight kind of energy, I know I would enjoy. It doesn't mean I wouldn't love other things, but those scenarios I know are perfect for me because my life is so you know?
Right, all over.
Yeah, so I love the calm, even the sound of the ocean is really settling for me, and stillness, which tends to come at nights.
What's next for Krystal?
I'm still trying to figure out what the next bold step is. In the short term, we're just making courageous decisions, deciding what I want to do with my time and what I don't want to do with my time, who I want to do that with and who I don't want to do it with, where I want to be when I'm doing it and where I don't want to be when I'm doing it, and really the impact and legacy I'm going to leave for Zia. So I'm making decisions that get me closer to satisfaction. When I think about, well, if today was my last day on earth, did I do everything possible to leave a strong foundation for my daughter? And every day that the answer is yes, I'm encouraged. And then every morning that I wake up with my right mind and I can ask myself that question, it feels like a brand new opportunity to just be excellent. So I'm taking those small steps. My sister in Tamichin calls them the next best step. Whatever the next best step for me in the moment is, in the hour, in the day, I'm going to take that next best step. But I'm still trying to figure out what the next bold move is. You know, like when could I say, well, I'm going to enter politics with clarity as a bold step. I'm not quite sure what that next bold thing is, but it will come to me. It will come to me. The more beach time I get and the more stillness in the night, it will come to me.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. No problem. And I do wish you all the best with your future endeavors. And I hope that your daughter has a very good and healthy life ahead of her.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to bless up you, your team. May your platform grow and expand. And of course, your listeners, may they continue to get value from these conversations.
Thank you. Today's show is sponsored by Make Your Mark, where you can get resumes that allow you to stand out from the crowd. Email them at makeyourmarkjm@gmail.com. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when we post new content. And always remember, you can be the light that fights against the shadows.